Are you having problems right now, currently, repaying your mortgage? If there's another interest rate rise, do you think you have the capacity to cope with it?
Back in 2008, when I was the chairman of Wizard Home Loans, the GFC period had just sort of around about commenced. Australia, like now, was going through an interest rate rise period. Retail rates were quite high. I recall vividly asking for people's views on how they felt about this.
And I'm actually very curious to find out from the mortgage belt in Australia what the impact that exists today as a result of a couple of years of interest rate rises on all Australians.
And also talking about how the Reserve Bank at the time makes determinations as to whether they should put interest rates up or not. Those decisions affect our psychology. Those decisions affect the way we feel. Those decisions not only affect the way we behave, but the way we feel about ourselves and the way we feel about everyone within our family or our immediate environment. So they do not only stop us from spending and hopefully in the Reserve Bank's case, stop inflation in its tracks, but they also have an impact on us as people. And they have an impact on the broader community of people who borrow money, small business owners, mortgage holders. And to a large extent, it's a negative effect. It's never a positive effect. It's a downward effect. And then people start reflecting on themselves about the decision making. So to be frank with you, nothing's changed. A long time since that period in 2008, nothing's changed. The Reserve Bank looks at the data. The Reserve Bank makes determinations. Right now, they've got the highest interest rate rise period in history and the greatest number of interest rate rises in history, well, at least as far as I can remember, without any reference back to how Australians feel.
And I keep reading about it and hearing about the commentators talking about what the data's saying, what the numbers are saying. But I'd actually believe that the Reserve Bank would really be interested in to know how you're feeling and what you're saying.
So I'm trying to work out where is the platform or the voice for what we think about what they're doing. They're constantly telling us we're spending too much money and creating and causing inflation, which, by the way, I do not agree with. Where we have an opportunity to actually stand up and say what we think about their decisions. How do we hold them accountable? By reading about what we say, what we think, by the way, what we feel. How are we feeling about this? Where is that platform? Who is responsible for this? Who's going to stick their hand up and say, you know what, sorry about all this, we're going to do something about it? Is that the government? Is it the Prime Minister? Is it the Treasurer? Is it the Reserve Bank Governor? Who is it? Who the hell is going to take responsibility for this outcome? Who's got what it takes to work this stuff out? Who's got the gumption to stand up? Because sure as hell is one thing is I don't want to be doing. I don't want to be looking at this video that I did this year in 2023, the one I did in 2008, in another 15 years from now, and looking at the same thing churning over exactly the same ways as it's doing now and as exactly the way it did 15 years ago. Because to me, that's poor policy. That means we are not learning from our mistakes. That means we are not increasing our standard of living. That means we're not improving the way we live our lives. And surely to goodness, there's much more intellect in those places, wherever it is, Martin Place, Canberra, wherever it is, much more intellect in those organisations to do something about this, to make it better for all of us. We deserve better.